Dolores here. Today I'd like to do a gardening project with you. It is January 6th today, and we had a little bit of snow last night, so there's about an inch of snow on the ground. And the skies are kind of gray and dreary, and this is the time of year that I enjoy pulling out something that makes me feel good, thinking more about spring. Over Christmas I got an Amaryllis kit, and what this is, it is a pot, an Amaryllis bulb, and some soil. So we're going to put this together, and I'll show you what I'm doing with it. This particular one is called Minerva, and it is a red flower with a white throat that comes up through the petal of the flower. So let me just open it up and show you what's inside. And it's nice. It comes with a nice gold pot, a compressed, almost like a hockey puck of, looks like it's mostly peat moss. It's a light soil mix. And then the Amaryllis bulb itself. Now, I'm going to take a look. It's easy to tell which end is the flowering end and which end is the root end of this particular bulb. Some bulbs are more difficult to tell, but this has actually got a little bit of growth on the leaf end of it. So very simple, and the bulb looks nice and healthy. It's not rotting at all. It's very firm and green. The kit comes with the instructions right on the inside here, and it says that this should bloom in about 8 to 12 weeks. So I'll check back with you at that time and we'll see how far this has gotten. The soil preparation, first thing we need to do is cut up and open this disc of soil. Then we're going to place it at the bottom of this pot, and I'm going to soak it with some warm water. There's more instructions right here on how to soak the soil. It says one disc should be 3.5 cups of warm water. Using warm water is important. It helps to saturate the peat moss better. Once it has been completely absorbed, loosen the soil and then plant the bulb. So that's where we're going to start. I have about 3 cups of water right here. So I'm going to pour that in. We'll let that soak, and I'll show you how that has pumped the soil up in a few minutes. So it's been a few minutes, and that little hockey puck has now puffed up into nice loamy soil. It is mostly peat moss. What's good about that, the peat moss holds moisture, but it also allows a lot of air to be able to get it down around the root. So, the placement of the bulb, we want to place it so that the green is just sticking out from the soil. Again, roots down, and I'm going to take out a little bit here. Set it in. Push the soil up around the bulb a little bit so it's secure, and then another little bit of water so we make sure it's compacted around the bulb itself. And there you have it. So we'll keep checking back on this, and I'll tell you how it's doing. Now that this plant is planted, what we need to do is to keep it in a room that is from 70 to 75 degrees. Keep it out of direct sunlight, and water it to maintain the moisture. As the plant grows, you're going to get large strappy leaves that come up out of it, and it could start to lean towards the light. So every time I water all of my house plants, I just give them a slight turn, and that keeps it from leaning one direction into the sunlight, because it'll start to get weak, and then once it starts leaning, it could possibly fall over because the plant gets sizable, especially when the flowers start to bloom. When the flowers come up in a pot that's small like this, you may want to put some gravel or a small stone mixture on top of the soil. That'll help to weight the pot down so that the plant doesn't fall over. And another thing, I would consider staking the flowers. The flower will probably come up, 18, 20 inches out of the pot. And when they are in bloom, you'd want to put just a small stake down it to support the flower so it won't flop around. After the flower has stopped blooming, I usually cut the flower off, and any leaves that start to turn yellow and die back, I usually trim them off. I've had an amaryllis that my sister gave me for about probably 8 to 10 years now, and what we do with it in the spring, we plant it outside. I plant the container and all right in the ground, and it starts to bloom usually late spring, and in the fall, since our weather's too cold to leave this outside and it would freeze, we pull the plant up, pot and all, out of the soil and put it in our garage. I keep it moist but not too wet over the winter, and then we plant it out again the next year. So I'm hoping that as this plant gets a little bigger in the spring, we'll probably do the same thing with it. Plant it outside so that it usually grows all summer long, blooms once, I would say late spring, and then it's just a nice beautiful strappy plant the rest of the year, and you can keep them year to year. But when a plant is in a container, you also need to repot it. After I'd say about 2 to 3 years, you should take the plant out of the pot totally, move it up in size about 1 inch or 2 diameter in the container, and if the roots are starting to grow around and sort of strangle itself, if you take just a knife, a utility knife, and cut down each side of the roots, pull off any that are really big, and put some new fresh soil in it, that helps the plant to get larger. As the bulbs develop, you get side bulbs to the main plant, and there you can take those small bulbs actually away and create another whole set of plants. It should be fertilized during the winter. I use a light fertilizer, a liquid fertilizer in my water. As I water, it's just a very light dose of fertilizer. When they're outside, I fertilize, I'd say about once a month, fairly heavily, with something like Miracle Grow. It's a good liquid fertilizer. And it's as easy as that. As I said, we'll keep an eye on this little plant and see how it does. I'll show you through the next few weeks how far we've progressed. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give me a comment at the bottom here and a thumbs up. Give me a like there. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, then subscribe to my channel. Just hit the subscribe button. Next to it's a little bell. That'll give you notice when I've put up a new video, and we can continue with our projects from there. Thanks.